and welcome to Kigali, Rwanda, the capital of Rwanda, which has been host to the second edition of the Basketball Africa League. And this is, of course, one of the key events before the Commonwealth Summit, which takes place this June here in Rwanda. My guest today on Globewatch is one of the towering stars of the basketball family. His father comes from Benin, the mother from the Caribbean, specifically from Jamaica, and he is a national of France who had spent so much time in the United States of America. How do we understand the rising character and star of this Afro-American of French nationality? My guest today on Globewatch is Ian Mahinmi. Ian Mahinmi, welcome to Globewatch.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you for this warm welcome.
You are part of what they call a multicultural studies, a symbol of the global village. Your dad comes from Benin in Africa, your mom from Jamaica in the Pacifics, yourself a French national playing for so many years in France. At one moment in your life, you wanted to play soccer, football. You switched to basketball.
Yes.
What was the transition?
Transition was good, because I believe in especially collective sports. There's a lot of similitude. It's a lot of similarities, and actually the things that I've learned early on with the game of soccer was able to help me with the game of basketball. As far as footwork, as far as stamina and things of that nature. So I transferred very easily. And I always tell this story to people. I don't think that I picked the game of basketball. I felt like the game picked me. So whatever I did in soccer, translate right away.
Tell me, why did you move from football, soccer, to basketball? It was a central figure in the basketball family that touched your soul day to day.
Actually, not. Actually, no. Growing up, we always played both. Like where I come from, we always played both. I want to say when it was nice outside, you go outside play soccer. On rainy days, cold days, you go inside and play basketball. So, I was always exposed to both. And as I grew very, very fast, at an early age, coaches started to, it's like, man, I really think you should give it a chance, give it a chance. And eventually I gave it a chance, and the rest was history. But it wasn't a particular player or particular person that inspired me to play.
By the age of 14, you're already 6 feet, if my statistics are quite correct.
Yeah.
I just wonder where you spent your childhood, but did your morphology define your psychology for the love of basketball?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Even though I grew faster than others, I think that you, especially here on the continent, you will find many tall guys that are not playing the game. So being tall doesn't mean you have to play the game and you have to be good at the game, right? So no, I think I'm gifted. I thank my families, my mom, my dad, my ancestors every day, for blessing me with, with the tools. But at some point, it's what you do with these tools and the people that are around you, helping you doing things with these tools. And I feel like all the stars aligned for me, and I created this platform where I was able to, genuinely transition into a professional player.
Of course, the stars of the basketball family were already behind you. Tell me, where did you debut your career? Which were the teams in which you played first?
So I was born in Rouen, in France, and the team of Rouen was my very first license, right? Very first team where I played, and became pretty good at the game early on. that allowed me, that gave me the opportunity to leave. You know, I went out of states, you know, out of Rouen, move up to up north, Le Havre, where you know I became a professional player there at an early age. Got drafted. I don't know if you're familiar with the draft thing
I
with the.
understand the language of the basketball
Sorry,
terms,
Charles. My,
so
my
go
apologies.
ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah, then got drafted out of Le Havre, and then played a couple of more years in France before I made the big jump. Played in a very famous team on, I want to say, the European platform called Portes. So I played there for a year, had an amazing experience with the EuroLeague tournament, and after that made the big jump, you know, crossed the Atlantic, and you know, started my journey in the NBA.
Before crossing the Atlantic, meaning going to the United States of America, those who are familiar with the European language, in the basketball techniques, you are either a thrower, a pointer, a shooter. Which of those qualifiers best suit your playing style?
I mean, me, I'm a center. You know, I'm a center that I want to say some of the quality that I have is defense. I always love playing defense. I was pretty athletic guys, you know, high jumper, super fast on the court, and most of all, a good teammate. You know, so you know, as a center, I think it's usually required to have a good like sense of shot blocking, you know, and rebound and being a protector. And I think those are the strong, you know, characteristics that define my game.
Your first years in the United States of America with the NBA, the National Basketball Association, which of course is the best of the leagues in the world.
Yes.
How was the early stage?
Obviously, the NBA is the, you know, elite. That's where every young players,
The heaven of basketball.
we all want to get there. We all want to get there. We all watch the NBA. We all admire, idolize, you know. So once you get there, you understand the, I want to say the level of work you have to put in. You know, the uh, level of
Commitment,
the
determination.
exactly. You know, it's everything like your competitive drive have to be so high because it's the best out of the best. Every year you get four, more or less 400 players that represent the world. You might have 10 Africans, or you might have two French, or you might have two guys from Spain. Basically, it's like the top of the cream, the best players in the world that compete, and we all compete with our skills. So coming in the NBA, you know, it's you come in this elite world class, you know, game where you know you're exposed to the best coaches, you're exposed to the best trainer, you fly private, you travel first class, best hotels, best fans. You play in front of 20,000 every night, you know. All of this put your mind in these top 1% tiers where you know you thrive on greatness.
You thrive on greatness, and your career is plus 3,000 points after playing in places like Washington Wizards, after playing with Portland and other teams. Tell me, where did you score the highest points in the US? I mean, the summit of your career.
Some of my career was probably with the Pacers, you know, the Indiana Pacers. Scoring wise, you know, but I never really pride myself on the scoring aspect of my game. Um, where I felt like I had the most impact was always in the defensive aspect of things. I pride myself on being a great teammate. I pride myself on being a glue guy. You know, a glue guy, somebody that's selfless and a winner. After everything, you know, my whole career has always been about winning. You know, wanted to be a part of a winning, you know, story, a winning team, winning franchise. So Yes, I scored the most in Indiana, but this is not what I'm most proud of.
At what moment you were drafted 28th overall in the National Basketball Association at a time when nobody ever expected that in the US? How was that year in particular for you? Exciting?
It was exciting because I was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs, and at that time they were the remaining champ. So, what an honor, from a small kid from Benin. Who would have thought that I would be drafted, and let alone by the remaining champions. So for me, my 3 year in San Antonio, my first 3 years, has laid great foundations to my career because I was surrounded by the best in the world. You're talking about the Spurs, you're talking about greatness. Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Bruce Bowen, Greg Popovich. These names, if you're in the basketball, yes, David Robinson, if you're in the basketball world, those are greatness. So these guys were surrounding me and were able to lay great foundation for my career.
Of course, great foundations for your career. What were your triumph moments? What were your low moments in this career that span years?
Yes, and this is what define you as a player too, those lows and those highs. And one of my lowest actually came early on in my career, which was a blessing. But after a year with the Spurs, I broke my ankle, right? And I missed an entire season, right? And early on in my career, I thought this was it. If you listen to the news and if you listen to what people say, like I was done. I was gonna go back to Europe or elsewhere, China, whatever, and play outside the NBA. I was finished, right? So this was one of my lows because you know it's a part of me that really believed that I was done. And then luckily you surround yourself. Not luckily, you have a good support system, good family around you that believes in you and that you know cheer you up and through the ups and downs, push you to be who you are. And I stuck with it, and 13 years later, I've had a good career with my highest was winning a championship with the Dallas Mavericks, in 2011. So, you never know. I broke my ankle my second year, but by year number 4, I was an NBA champ. It was, you know,
Of course, I'm talking to an NBA champion who, at what moment, had a financial turnover, especially when you signed with the Washington Wizards of that should be around 2015, if my stats are correct. Roughly 15 or 16 million dollars. What do you think are your greatest contributions to basketball globally or locally, be it in Benin, your home country, Jamaica, or in France or in the United States?
you bring out numbers, but it's really never about the numbers. It's really about what you do with it. It's about in the NBA, most of the players make a good amount of money, right? But it's really about what you do with it, and for me, it has always been about creating, using the money that I have to create opportunities, right? And create opportunities for me. It's not a set place. I try to create opportunities everywhere I go. And I started that from my very rookie year, my first year in the NBA, by doing camps for kids in France. Then we evolved to having a foundation where my foundation is doing things everywhere I go, France, Benin, in the States, in Texas, in DC, everywhere. So for me, it has always been on my mind. It is not so much about, myself and the money that I bring in. It's, now that I have this money, how can I create opportunities for anybody? It could be young, it could be older folks, but I'm recently really, really involved with the youth on the continent of Africa.
How many of you inspired? Do you know Lumba Amute?
Of course, I know Luke.
He would tell you that, okay, because of me, I had Joel Embiid, Patrick Siakam, and others, who are some of the greatest
Yes.
basketball players in the world today. What are the other impacts you have created in terms of inspiring people?
I mean, I don't count, but I'm hoping that I inspire one, just one kid from Benin. I spent so much time working with the youth in Benin.
Yeah.
I hope that one
Well,
kid.
if you are a Christian, the Bible says that the kingdom of God is not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So it's what you inspire that matters.
You know,
How
and
many people you take from hell to heaven that matters.
well, I don't know if I take a lot, but I want to be maybe a stone that helps. You
Absolutely.
know, so I never count, but I've been doing camps for over 15 years. You know, so I don't know how many hundreds of kids I've impacted. You know, but I would never keep track of that. I will continue to do the work because this is necessary. You know, when you become an NBA player, it comes with responsibilities. You know, rather that you like it or not, it comes with responsibilities. You are one of the chosen one. So you either embrace this or you could live your regular life, you know, and being good for you and your family. But I believe that being a part of this wonderful association, you have duties, and one of the duty that you have is to give back. Is to give back, and what better way to do it to give back to the people that are looking out for you.
We have the Basketball Africa League, which it's in its second edition this year, which is of course is a novelty in the basketball family. What are your thoughts about this new league?
I mean, this league for us, I say for us because I'm very much involved in this league. Um, you know, it's a platform that we want to use to have the best basketball game played on the continent. Why we do this is because we believe that we are great. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now. We believe that if you look in the NBA, some of the best talent now playing are from here. So how come we do not have a league that's recognized worldwide as one of the best? That's the intent, you know, to create a league where we could compete with the best league in the world. Look at today's NBA, right? NBA's best. Joel Embiid is from Cameroon, was voted second to be the best player in the NBA. MVP. What that tells you.
The most valued player.
Exactly. To me personally, he was the best player in the NBA this season. But that tells you that you could be from here on the continent, you could be from Cameroon, go to America and become not a good player, but the best player. So, you know, this league is everything for me. This league is a platform. This league would be something very special where kids.
Is that why you happily accepted to play the role of Basketball Africa League ambassador?
I mean, of course. I mean, this is organic. You know, like I'm from Benin. I want every kid in Benin to think like, hey, it's possible. Girls and boys, you know. I was there where you were. So it's possible. And this is why I'm an ambassador. This is why we'll continue to do the work because I truly believe. You know, there is testimony as we speak right now. Let's not forget about the great Akeem Olajuwon. Let's not forget about the great Dikembe Mutombo. You know, we had, you know, history of greatness and it continues, you know. So this league is a platform has to be inspiring for the youth. We have to elevate and empower. This is the three words that we always use when we talk about the BAL. Elevate, inspired, and which one I'm missing? Elevate, inspire, and empower. You know, so this is what we're inspired to do, and that's what we're here to do, and I'm gladly doing it.
Well, when you look at the African environment today, there is much migration of the talent to the Western world, be it in football, be it in basketball, be it in baseball, be it in cricket, be it in tennis.
Yeah.
What particular message do you have for your fellow youth on the continent?
That things are moving. You know, things are moving the right way. We heading the right direction. You know, one of the reasons we're building this league is to keep our talent here because talent wants the platform. They want a league where they want to thrive on. They want a league where they see themselves grow. They want a league that will be good enough to give exposure to the world, good enough to bring enough money to become who you want to be. You know, so we on the way. This league is we only in the second season, but the intent is, keeping talents at home too. You don't always have to go left and right to be successful. You could be successful at home and eat your yassa or poulet ndole or, for me, inyampile. You could be here with your people and be successful and live the life that you want here. So this is what we're trying to do with this BAL.
If you had any message for those developing basketball on the continent, the giants of Africa with Masai Ujiri, governments like those of President Paul Kagame, where we are here struggling to build at least 100 courts on the continent, what do you think should be done when it comes to basketball infrastructure on the continent? To provide an enabling environment for everybody to succeed just like in soccer.
You said it all. You need both. You need the private sector and the public sector. You need governments to understand the value of sports. Like, sports has a tremendous value added to a country. And the private sector, they need to understand that. Both combined is the magic recipe. What Giants of Africa is doing, it's necessary. It's amazing, but it's necessary. Because without courts, you can't play the game. So, that being said, you have to commend people that take on challenges like that to build courts. You have to commend and applaud governments that believe in sports. Because right now, I come from the NBA. So you look in what the NBA has done in 75 years. Look at where they're at right now. Look at how powerful of a situation, has an entity the NBA is. And the NBA entity might be as powerful as a whole country. This is crazy what sports could do, how sports can transform lives, communities, cities, states, countries, continent. Do not underestimate that.
Okay. Finally, in about 20 seconds, the majority of people in Africa, especially the young ones, want to play football to become the next Albert Roger Miller, Samuel Eto'o, El Hadj Diouf, Sadio Mane, Mo Salah. What message will you have for them that, look, basketball is the destination?
Basketball is the destination. Look around you. If you have to name one athlete, you name a whole lot of legends and great players. But I think that the most known celebrity right now is LeBron James. You cannot go anywhere in the world and say LeBron James and nobody knows about him. That's basketball. Basketball is an attractive sport. People enjoy watching the game of basketball. And we have great ambassadors. You're talking about LeBron, you're talking about Steph Curry, you're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's, by the way, Nigerian, even though he's Greek. So you're talking about all these guys, those are great ambassadors. And kids like Michael Jordan. You have the game of basketball gives you some of the most charismatic athletes. So the game is, to me, the most attractive. So boys and girls, I believe, just need to have access to it. Once they have access to it, Charles, game is over.
And the game is over, and the interview too is over. NBA legend of Beninese, Jamaican origins with French nationality, and of course, simply a citizen of the world. Ian Mahinmi, thank you very much indeed for accepting to be guest on the Cameroon Radio Television.
Thank you, Charles. I appreciate you.